Hello and welcome to the next session of On the Dock with Terry Winter. Today I want to look at some body position details, and so what I'm going to be looking at is the counter rotation of your shoulders and your hips, and not just counter rotating going into the turns, but also staying countered through the finish of the turn, so that when you finish that turn and you go into that cut, it's just one continuous motion, one continuous movement that gets you the good acceleration right out of the turn. So one of the most useful tools that I know of, and I think one of the easier ones to do as far as your technique goes, is just counter rotating into the turn. And so what I mean is, as you come through the head change, coming into that pre-turn, you start to release with that outside shoulder or that outside hand. Go ahead and take that outside shoulder and just kind of bring it back, and take the inside shoulder and bring it a little bit up and a little bit forward. And that's counter rotating. What that does is it takes your hips and pushes your hips farther up over the front of that ski, and also brings your weight or your hips to the inside of that turn. And it's just a really pretty easy way, I think, to really tighten up that turn. So what I found is that the counter rotating into the turn is not the most difficult part. The tough part for me, and it seems like what I see with a lot of people, is trying to stay open or countered through the finish of that turn when the ski snaps around and starts pointing back across the course. What happens is, if you finish that turn, or the ski's finishing the turn, and you close off that upper body, your shoulders rotate back around, then what you end up doing is you kind of block your hips off and you leave your hips behind you. And so when you go to take that pull from the boat, you're not going to be very strong, because the handle's going to be too far away from the center of your body, and also your hips are going to be left back towards the fin of the ski, and so the ski's not going to work that great. You're kind of off the sweet spot of the ski, you're towards the tail, you're going to be plowing water, the ski's not going to really be up on those rails carving that tight for you, so you're going to be slow on your ski and also weak against the boat. So if you do have a big turn or a big cut, you're not really going to be able to hold on to it, because you're not strong enough, you're not balanced and stacked over your ski, and the handle's getting pulled away from your body. So the question is then, how do you make this happen? And what I found, the easiest way for me is by just keeping your vision more looking down the length of the course, rather than finishing that turn and turning your head across the course. So what I do is, if I'm turning one ball, as soon as I know that my ski is going to clear or get around that buoy, I take my eyes and I look up across the bow of the boat and I spot two ball, and I just keep my eyes on that next buoy all the way through the finish of that turn, all the way through the cut. I lose it behind the boat for a quick second, but I pick it right back up on the other side of the wake, and then I can watch two ball as I come into it. And then same thing, once I know that I'm around two ball safely, take my eyes and look back up across the bow of the boat to the other side, and I just keep my eyes on that next buoy all the way through the finish of that turn, all the way through that cut. And what I found using this technique is that it's fairly comfortable for me. I can still keep my upper body fairly open through the finish of that turn. It keeps me pretty square to the course, but it also allows me to see where I'm going, so it doesn't feel too weird.